Window washers of Reddit. What is the most memorable thing you have seen while on the job? Good friend is a window washer for downtown office towers. They get notice of the day the windows are being washed. Yet he says it's shocking how many people are freaked out by them being outside their window. Weirdest though? They came across a dude watching porn on his office computer. When he noticed the window washers, he just gave them a big thumbs up and kept watching. I work for a private estate in the local polo club. I was under the impression that the owners were not home at the time, but I was wrong. I was washing windows this particular morning and I came around to the restroom window and got a prefect view of this older couple in the shower together. The window looked out on a private fenced-in patio. So that's why it wasn't fogged glass. The window by the toilet is the same way. Bad design in my opinion. I've never moved faster in my life than I did catapulting myself backwards out of view of this naked couple. I don't believe they saw me because the next time we ran into each other, everything seemed normal from their end, haha. Housekeeper checking in. This one lady liked to feed birds. Like 50 pounds every 2 weeks. No screens. Sills caked in filth and the windows themselves had been neglected over time. They were Anderson windows so you could pull them in from the inside. Well, the tension string broke and I'm literally holding the window by a string and this bird straight up flies into my face. I was shocked. The bird was shocked. I screamed. I like to imagine the bird did too. Bird flew away and I got the window locked back in place and called maintenance. This was on the second floor too. Not my story but my brother's. A very famous female comedian in my country had a house in our area and in her bedroom above the bed was a life-size "Paint me like one of your French girls" oil painting of her starkers. He nearly fell off the ladder in surprise and she was stood at the bottom wetting herself laughing cause she knew what was coming. A tornado. We'd had little warning before we saw it about 1 kilometer away. It didn't appear to be moving side to side much, which indicates that it's coming towards you. We winched down about 4 floors, jumped onto a fire escape and got inside the building, rode out the storm inside and then went home. I used to window clean hotels, which meant going room to room with a master key to let myself in. I've seen quite a few dildos and vibrators being proudly displayed on bedside tables. But the one situation that stuck with me the longest was just walking down the corridor and hearing 2 middle-aged people going at it in one of the rooms. It was a Georgian hotel in the Cotswolds, so very echoey. Their screams were getting louder and louder and people were actually coming out of their rooms because it was so audible. All the housekeepers at the end of the corridor were doubled over laughing. That couple had no idea how intimately they shared their experience with us. Not a window washer, but I used to install and repair windows. One afternoon we'd gone out to a job where some asshole neighborhood kids had smashed several back windows of a nice elderly couple's place. We worked our way from top. First 2 windows belonged to an ensuite bathroom, while the third was the bedroom to which the ensuite was attached. The master. My job was to clear any remaining glass from the area so the other bloke could put the new panel in. Anyway, I noticed a small urn on the desk by the window, with the name Triple Scoop engraved upon it, along with 2 dates, about 4 years apart. Probably a pet. Hopefully a pet, I'd thought. Didn't think about it for more than a minute. Then went back to work. We finished the upstairs windows and went down to work on the 2 in the kitchen. Holy shit. There was a wall with 5 long shelves, each one holding several urns similar to Triple Scoop upstairs. Turns out the elderly couple used to breed and race greyhounds and the urns contained the remains of their deceased racers. Triple Scoop was their first champ. Not a window washer but I live in a 2-story building so we don't really bother with real curtains in the bathroom. We only have an extremely thin, see-through white fabric over the window. The doors in the shower are glass. So, on this fateful day, I was taking a shower and my mom had unfortunately neglected to inform me that our gutter was getting repaired that day. So you can imagine my surprise when while I was just minding my bussiness, getting soaped up in the shower, naked as the day I was born, all of a sudden I see the figure of a man ascending into the frame of my window. I am not proud to say I completely panicked and just dropped to the floor. So, dripping wet and covered in soap, I made my way, crawling over the bathroom floor to open the door. I escaped. The worst part is that at that point the guy was probably so high up that he saw everything. The most horrifying moment of my life. But it does make for a good story today. Window cleaner for over 12 years now. I've seen horrible things. Also hilarious things. Once helped catch a pair of yobs who were on the run from the police. Was just minding my own business cleaning a customer's windows when the fence panels behind us in the garden exploded. Like it started raining splintered wood and dirt. Some scum had nicked a car and cornered way too fast. They shot the corner, jumped the curb and obliterated the garden and the nicely parked up BMW in the drive. Both knobheads ran immediately and hopped the gardens, and in seconds out of nowhere there's a helicopter circling and K9 units on them both. They were flat-faced down on the pavement in a matter of moments. Big burly coppers pinning them down. Seen plenty of big double-ended dildos. Strapped one etc. left out on the beds of undiscerning customers. Lots of naked old dudes and people who were in the shower not knowing we were there only to scream. It's a good laugh as a job really. Folk are always alright and it's nice to have a cuppa on the job and a biscuit. Not a proper window washer so to speak, but the clothing store I worked had the insides of their big from windows cleaned every Sunday morning by a staff member. A lot of the time it was me. Now people could come into the mall and wander around, we just wouldn't let them in the stores. This is because the upstairs was a food court and open. So one morning I'm in the store on the little ladder cleaning the window and I spy this dude standing just kind of out of the way of my line of sight, but he can see me. I'm thinking great. It's 8 a.m. on a Sunday, I'm possibly still drunk, I don't need this crap, it's too early. So I turn around to call my manager over to point him out so she can call security. While I'm turned around he runs up to the window. Waits till we are both looking and pulls out his dick and wanks all over the store window. Yup. He was escorted out and arrested and one of the mall cleaners had to clean the mess up, poor dude. There was then a flawed high-neck top found that all the girls had to wear when washing the windows because apparently he was getting off on seeing the cleavage. Just ew. Not a window washer. But I was the victim. It's a Saturday morning and I wanted to have a nice lie-in. My headboard for my bed is up against the window, so I sleep facing away from the window and have to turn around to see what is outside, to open the curtains. On this fateful day, I woke up to some sound but it wasn't alarming, so I just carried on as usual. Stretched. Then turned around to open my curtains. Then I see his face. The window cleaner clearly didn't expect me to open the curtains and got a little scared. I too didn't expect to see someone's face looking back at me through the window. Early on a Saturday morning, he saw me almost fall off my bed in sheer terror. Paying him at the door when he was done was funny. We both laughed and pretended it didn't happen. Edit. Grammar. Edit 2. Thank you, kind stranger, for the award. Hats off to you. Did a job in one of the wealthiest area in Texas. I had uppers, which is longer, especially with a ladder. My coworkers were inside for maybe 10 to 15 minutes. As I'm about to go inside, both of them come outside, visibly upset. One of my coworker went in the bathroom, stepped in a puddle and got his socks wet, and just continued to clean the windows. The other one went behind him and stepped in the puddle as well. And he looked down and sees there's piss everywhere. They both stepped in piss. The owners had a young toddler, and the entire house was in filth. Food everywhere. Kids' toys everywhere. They basically let the kid do whatever he wants with no supervision. The mother was very trashy. Couldn't believe this shit in a $300,000 plus house. Not window washing, but as a kid I had a paper route, and on collecting dollar day I knocked and looked through the screen door to see what appeared to 11 years old me to be Mrs. Jones inflating Mr. Jones by his valve stem in the middle of the living room. That was a good summer. Not a window washer. But I saw a window washer dressed up like Batman while cleaning the windows of the cancer ward in the hospital. Grandmother had cancer. The child cancer center was through a different door on the same hall as the elderly. 60 plus. Cancer center. I was 9 at the time and thought it was awesome. Cheered me up for a while. Edit. Thanks for the award, stranger. I love how people are shocked and amazed at this. It's actually common at that hospital to have the window washers do this at the hospital when they're working around a children's ward. The nurse told me that when the same dude was dressed as Spider-Man the next day. Except she told me that a new hero comes to help the hospital every day. Not a window washer myself. Just one very unlucky victim. So the day started off as a lovely Saturday morning in the midst of summer. Sun beaming in from all windows. Music blasting and in such a great mood. To my sweet surprise, I was home alone. Thought it was the perfect time to walk around in just my underwear. I'd be an absolute fool to waste this fine opportunity. There I am, dancing around in what I can only explain as a very small article of clothing. I went downstairs to start my morning off with a nice coffee and some breakfast. I walk into my kitchen and to my horror, I see one of the 2 window washers that regularly come to my house. Standing directly in front of me behind the glass garden door. staring at me with a jaw dropped and embarrassed expression on his face. I immediately went red in the face and tried to run back upstairs as fast I could. Although he still caught sight of my backside as well. The most awkward part of it all was that I had to pay him before he left, and we had the most awkward encounter than ever before. While he just smiled, giggled and asked me how my day was going. I still have to see him every once in a while.